We're going to start a protocol here. The first thing you're going to want to do when you set it up is go to setup and check your calibration screen. The calibration screen will have various parameters that can be used if you're using a liquid that is much more viscous or dense or anything, and you need to do a pump calibration away from normal. The flow factor here is a setting. That's the number of revolutions the pump needs to turn to move 1 milliliter of fluid. This is what the main factor in calibration is. This will be optimized and will not need to be changed when you see it from the beginning, but these are where you can change certain factors of the pumps and run the pumps without using a protocol from this screen. Once you have a factor in all of the flow factor and acceleration, for now, you can go to protocols. Click new on create new protocol. Select fill. And from this screen, you can assign any number you want. You can see the ranges in parentheses to the right is the allowable range that it'll let you set. We'll start off with protocol 10 version 1. You can name it. And enter anything you need there. At each step of protocol creation, as of now, you need to hit save before clicking next. This is to make sure that every piece of the protocol is saved in the system. So you hit next. From here, you can see that you can select any Sexton consumable part number. The user-defined or DIYs are not yet available, but they will be. So if you choose a 5 ml Celsius vial, hit save, go to next. Here's where you can choose your, or you put in all your source information. So depending on how many sources you're using and the volume that is there, you can enter in any amount of information here. We'll use pump 3 and source 3, or pump 2 and source 3, excuse me. It has 2,000 mils, and we'll just use one source for this protocol. Hit save and go to your next. And here's where you choose the parameters. Pump 2 is the enabled pump because you chose source 3. So source 3 and 4 go through pump 2. Pump 3 is the air removal pump at the end of the consumable. You choose a priming speed. Priming speed, we usually go slower for prime and purge, just because those go by bubble sensor. Output is going to be your main fill speed. Sample, you can choose if you have a sample in your consumable that you want filled at a different speed. Choose there. There you go. We're not going to have any mixing enabled for this, but here would be where you could choose your mixing speed. And then set the purge. Then click save before going to the next. Here's where you enter your amount of consumables from 0 to 20 right now. We'll choose 5. Now, if your consumable is, if you're doing more than 5 and you want to change your consumable per set of 5, you can choose variable. Fill volume is across each consumable. So if you have a fill volume, or if you have different consumables but the same fill volume through each consumable, you would choose common. Here we'll choose variable as we want to fill each vial to a different volume. Your fill volume repeat first 5 would be if you had a specific set of volumes over your course of consumables that you wanted to repeat. So say you wanted your first vial of every 5 to be filled at 1 and the rest to be at 4, you could set that and repeat it without having to enter in a manual volume for each vial or each output. Remember to hit save, go to your next. All right, and here, as you can see, we chose the 5 ml vial, so that's the one that's enabled over here. Here's where your user defined would be enabled if they were set up in the system. And here is your consumable 1 through 5. And here, since we chose variable, we can enter a different volume for each consumable. And I know that I chose the 5 ml vial, but just filling in different volumes to illustrate the difference here. And we'll say the last one is the same, a smaller volume. Again, click save. Once all your volumes are entered, go to your next. All right, here's a screen that shows all of the sensors that are going to be available to be either activated or volumes or values set for. So you can turn on the bubble sensor. We are not mixing, but here's where you would have your mixing temperature sensor active, the alarm, and then the temperature and alarms for each of the other thermocouples that may or may not be used. And click save. Go to your next. All right, and here's where you can verify that each step was completed along the way. Also, if you want to, you can choose any of the headers over here in 1 through 8 and go back to that section. So for example, if I wanted to go back and change the outputs, I could click outputs. Say I changed my mind on what the fill was. Yes, I still wanted that. Click save. Next. And say, oh, I didn't want that to be 1 milliliter anymore. I change it to 5 mils. Save. And go back to review. And there you are. Verify that all of your sections have been completed and click Save Protocol. And there you go. That's how you set up a protocol.